Hi everyone, it's Nat here. Hope you're all doing well. I am on to start my Tracie Fox creative design team project for the month of April. Better late than never. So this month I am using her gorgeous Pretty Pink Scraps Digital. Now this is one of her simple budget friendly range. There are 30 pages as well, so it's huge, and there is nothing simple about it. It's absolutely gorgeous, and I just found it really inspiring when I saw it. I'm not much of a pink person, but just the textures and the artistic nature of it really inspired me. So I'd like to do something a little different with this month. So I thought I will show you the kit. Initially I just printed out a few pages because I was going to make some ephemera with them, and then I changed my mind. It's the month for that. I keep changing my mind on all my projects. So I went back and printed the whole lot out. So we will have a look. It does come with tags. No, it's got tags and pockets and ephemera and then journal pages. They are beautiful, beautiful backgrounds. There's some pockets and journal cards that would fit into the pockets. Huge tags. Nice and grungy edges and that as well. I love the texture that you see on them. The crackled paint. And then we've got the pages, and this is what inspired me. They look like watercolour and collaging, nice mixed media style, and abstract. I'm not a big fan of abstract. For some reason I was really drawn to these, and that's what gave me the idea of what I'd like to do with them. And they're all over the place. Beautiful, aren't they? I love how they're pink, but they've got your cream tones and the blacks as well. So there's that contrast. Heaps of pages. So it's definitely going to work for what I want to do. Now, a while ago, I also stumbled across a couple of packs of these window files in a reuse centre that we have near here. They're not the thickest, but they will go very nicely, I think, as a backdrop to our pages. Yes, I think they will be nice. And I haven't used my cinch for ages, so I thought we might do a cinch-bound book today. And I'm thinking of doing an art journal that I can play around with, practicing some mixed media techniques, and that's something I really need to do. So I think we'll use these, and it's going to be quite a simple one. So hopefully you can follow along if you'd like to. And I might actually make 2 of these because there are piles of pages in the kit. I'm not sure how much of the ephemera I use because I think I'm going to want to keep it flattish so that I can do mixed media in it quite easy. So what I will do is find some cover pieces and cut these to size. And I have to take the borders off of my pages as well. So I will get to doing that and we'll get started putting it together. I have my pink folder here and I'm just cutting off where the flap there folds over. And then I'm cutting off one of the long edges. And then I measure it to 8 inches and cut the other edge off so that you can pull both pieces apart. So we're doing all of the pages with the folder here at 8 inches in height. Then once I've got all of them, I want to cut the length, and I'm doing 11 inches in length. So these will be pages that I'm going to cover with the digitals. So with the digitals, I'm cutting them down to 7 3/4 in height, and then 10 3/4 in length. That way I'll get a bit of the pink folder showing around the edges as a bit of a border, which I think looks really nice. Next, I've got some chipboard. I think it's 12 by 12 chipboard that I got secondhand. And I want to cut 2 pieces for my covers. I'm doing 4 though, because I'm doing 2 journals. So for these, I make them the same size as the folder pieces that I cut. So that is the 8 by 11 inches. Now I have this huge art diary that my daughter left here when she moved out. She's back now. But I've got a few of these and they're a bit big for me to use. So I thought, well, why not get to using the pages on this? So I'm cutting these down, and these are the same size, again, the 8 by 11 inches. These are going to be pages in between the folder pages. These will be pages that I can watercolour or draw or whatever I like on. It's a great way to use these pages up. But if you don't have an art diary, use watercolour paper, use scrap paper, gel print paper, whatever you like. It's the same with the folders. Use manila folder, use cardboard packaging, whatever you like. So there I'm showing you I have cut out all of the pages that I want for the inside of my art journal. Next, I've got the Helmar Crystal Coat Fixative. It's a workable matte medium, and I've sprayed all my digital pages with that. That's so that when they are in the book, if I want to do a bit of painting over the top or add other mediums, that I can, and the ink won't run on the digitals. So now I've got to sort out my folder pieces and which digital I want on top of each. I think there were 21 full pages in the kit, so I'm doing 9 pages on the folder. I was meant to do 8, but I forgot that I had an extra page for covering the back of my cover, so I used that as well. So I'm doing 9. So to adhere the digital papers to my folder pieces, I am using some double-sided tape around the edges, just because I struggle sometimes to get glue right to the edge, and then if I do, the glue sort of leaks out and I swipe it onto the digital with my fingers. I try rubbing it off and I rub some of the print off of the digital. So I thought the best way to deal with that with these big pieces is do the double-sided tape around the edges and then glue as well. But I don't have to focus on getting it right to the edges that way. I wouldn't use just double-sided tape because I've made something with double-sided tape before and a year later it will come apart. So yes, like I said, I was meant to do like 8 pages for each journal and then keep 2 digitals for cover pieces for the front and back cover. But I made a boo-boo because I had like this extra page hanging around, and that was the 9th. So I used it as a 9th page, but it was meant to be for the back cover. So I've reprinted what I'm using for the front covers for both of my journals and using that on the back cover, which you'll see as well. So I just stick it down, leaving that little border on all the sides. This is where I note that all my cutting's a bit crooked because it's never even. So next I want to get onto my chipboard covers here. So I'm just using a bit of gesso, which I'm putting into the little palette on my silicone mat. And I'm adding a bit of pink paint to my gesso just to colour it up a bit. I've got a lighter pink there and I quite like the colour, but it's not quite as strong as I want. So I do go in with a darker pink there. and mix them together. You want to make sure it's mixed pretty evenly, or else you'll get like white bits in your painting. So I just check my digital and my folder up against the colour of the paint so that I know they're going to go okay. And I do a coat just around the edges because we'll be covering the inside and outside of the cover. It'll just be the edges that are showing of the chipboard, so I just want to colour them in my pinkish gesso. So I do one coat with my sort of thicker brush there and make sure I get the edges as well. So I do that on the front and back of all of my cover pieces. Then once that's dry, which doesn't take long, I go in with a thinner brush there and just go over the top, because there's only going to be a little bit showing, so it doesn't need to be so wide. You can see it's a lot more of a solid colour with the two coats. So I repeat that process, of course, on the front and back of all of my cover pieces. Once that's dry, I go around the edges with my aged mahogany distress ink. And I run it in a little bit, and I don't mind that it's a bit patchy and splotchy, and that I quite like that look. I don't want it to be solid colour along there. And of course I repeat that on the inside and outside of the cover pieces. So I decide to make some little pockets for my front and back covers on the inside, and so I grabbed a couple more of my folders. Now again, if you don't have something like this, you could use envelopes or just some more cardstock or whatever you like, and make pockets however you like. They don't have to have windows in them or anything like that too. So I do need to cut these down so they fit, and I don't want to cut off any of my window piece, so I'm cutting both edges, which is opening up the folder completely, making it two pieces. And I cut that down to the same size as my digital pieces, so that's the 11 3/4 by 7 3/4. And I'm keeping the two pieces of the folder for this. When I cut down my previous ones for the pages, I had the front pieces left over of the folders, and I'm cutting one of them up to make a little pocket on the front of this folder piece. I hope that makes sense. I sort of want the lines to match up too, because I think that will look good, so just cutting it so the lines will sort of match up. And I'm making two of these for my two journals for the inside front cover. So I'm just using my circle punch to do a thumb notch. Put them to the side, and I grab two more of my folders and cut them to the same size, and they're going to be for the inside back covers. I'm not putting a pocket on the front of these, but I again keep both pieces. I would have kept them joined together, but because I had to cut them so short and it has the window on it, I had to cut sort of both the top and bottom off. So I'm joining them back together now, but I am only going up about 1/2 to 3/4 of the way up one of the sides. It's the side that will be on the sort of outside of the page, and that will make it easier when you put things in and out of the pocket to be able to reach in and pull things out. Which you can see there. So for the back cover, the opening will be on the right side, and for the front cover, the opening will be on the left side. So now it's time just to tack my little pocket pieces on for the front pocket that I'm doing. So as I said, you only need one of these for the journal, but because I'm doing the two, I'm showing you the two that I am sticking on. So I'm showing that I've gone and sewed just on that inside edge of the pocket there. So I do that before I stick my 2 folder pieces together. Again, leaving it open on the left-hand side there since it's going to be on the front cover. Now I've gone and sewn them together, the 2 big pieces. So that ends up catching the rest of the pocket that we just sewed the one side on. So that's the back pocket there, and the other one's the front pocket with the extra pocket on it. So now we've got to stick these onto our chipboard. So we're doing the back pocket first. And again, I'm just using my double-sided tape here around all the 4 edges. And then I'll use glue as well to stick it down. I'm not embellishing these at all. It's a very plain journal on the inside because it's an art journal. I want to be able to get in and do collaging and art and painting or whatever I like in it when I want to. Just adding some extra double-sided tape in the middle. So nice lashings of glue all over. But again, I don't have to be too careful getting it all to the edges and that because we've got the tape. Stick it on, leaving that little border around the edge that we painted. And there's the pocket for the back cover. So that's the pocket for the back cover, and we do the same to adhere the front pocket to the front cover. I hope you enjoyed that and it gave you some ideas of making your own art journal. I'll have a part 2 up in the next few days, which will be adding the front and back cover pieces and embellishing the front cover, and also putting the journal together with the cinch binder. All the links to Tracie's social media will be below, as will the link to the kit that I'm using, which is absolutely beautiful. So do take care, be good, and I will see you again soon.